The Divine Foresight, one of the 7 Arbiter Generals. Although his appearance may be one of indolence, he is more meticulous than seemingly meets the eye. He does not consider saving a situation from the brink of disaster to be a show of wisdom, and is thus fastidious with routine affairs to avoid any potential problems. Due to his careful management, Xianzhou has enjoyed many years of peace, with Jing Yuan's seemingly lazy demeanor having earned him the moniker of the Dozing General. Master Diviner, why do we use a square board but round pieces for star chess?
Perhaps it's based around the round sky and square earth. Ancient civilizations believed the earth was flat. This set is modeled after the old days of nation-states and imperial conquest over a singular planet. So, naturally, it's square. As for the pieces, people back then believed the sky was a round dome, and chess pieces spun around like stars in that dome to reflect in human lives. That's why they are also round.
No, that's incorrect.
I've already predicted your next 48 moves. Jing Yuan, if you want to distract me with questions, I urge you to stop.
How could you suspect such malice?
Don't interrupt me, keep talking.
It's true that chess is a metaphor and describes the human condition. The rules of war are clearly established, with each piece's actions fixed. Advance, retreat, and jump. Advance or retreat is always in an orderly manner, which is why the board's square in its orderliness. As for the pieces, the sages said, use intellect with subtlety and suaveness. As each piece is meant to be sentient individuals, they are therefore circular.
The origins of star chess are covered in the gleaned pearls of verdure. I've read lots. Jing Yuan, why are you brazenly lying to me?
Cloud Knight moves to c3, taking your king. You lost, Lady Fu.
Hang on. How did I not see this in my predictions? Back up, let me see that move again.
Chess pieces are like people. Each has its own sentience. There is no going back on the chessboard. How can anyone return to the past? How can the head of a commission act like a sore loser? Of an alliance spanning 6 mighty Xianzhou ships, the Cloud Knights emerged out of the ashes of the flaming catastrophe. They swore an oath to defend the Xianzhou ships and follow Rainbow's decree of the hunt, a tradition carried out to this day. Despite the incredible longevity of long-life species, few generals have been able to pass the century mark after taking up the mantle due to the bloody nature of warfare. This is not so much fate as it is tradition. As the armed defenders of Xianzhou against crusading abominations, generals not only must take the lead for planning and dispatching, but also take the lead into battle. Amidst countless names erased too quickly and too cruelly in the annals of history, the divine foresight Jing Yuan, leader of the Cloud Knights of the Xianzhou Luofu, stands out from the rest with his centuries-old reign. Under his wise strategy, the Luofu's Cloud Knights have made a name for themselves among the Alliance, achieving an exemplary record. While there are those who complained that he feared combat so much so that he seldom resorted to arms, it remains true that his intellect is no less resourceful than the tip of the sharpest sword in solving thorny problems. One of the hottest pieces of gossip making the rounds today contends that Jing Yuan's family has served the Realm Keeping Commission for generations. According to the Foxian custom of having babies picking their future, parents will put various objects and toys around an infant cub and get them to choose their future career by grabbing an item. Jing Yuan's parents hoped he would inherit the mantle of a scholar or official at the Realm Keeping Commission, but Jing Yuan grabbed the toy sword. It seems like prediction from the birth fate tradition came true. After graduating from the academy, Jing Yuan joined the Cloud Knights to escape from a typical life against his family's wishes. His first expedition was recorded in the official Cloud Knights battle record. The Navis astrager carrying the troops had to make a forced landing on a Notion planet infested by abominations. One new lifelong species known as puppeteer jellyfish hijacked the Cloud Knight's minds, stowing onto the ship and almost converting their warship into an alien hive. Jing Yuan quickly became aware of the crisis and identified the requirements of puppeteer jellyfish possession, then devised a way against them. The rest of the crew eventually passed this ordeal amongst identical friends and foes, defeated the real enemies, and returned home to safety. This bloodless victory showed Jing Yuan's mettle to the Cloud Knight's generals. After returning to the Xianzhou, Jing Yuan demonstrated his adept skill and was appointed to a position of importance in the Knights. His quick-witted and practical approaches had repeatedly given his superiors unforgettable surprises and headaches. In the end, Jing Yuan was invited by the previous sword champion of the Law Fu to join her team, and so, the legend of the High Cloud Quintet was formed. As the most famous legends in Xianzhou history, the 5 heroes of the High Cloud Quintet gathered to fight together. Their feats were almost endless, driving out the Borisin invading Thalassa, destroying the alliance between the Hoannams and the Wingweavers in the Abundance Axis, even rescuing the Xianzhou Yuchui and defeating the living planet Ketu Mirage, preserving the eyes of the alliance that gaze out to the stars. However, all their achievements were no match for the cruelty of time. The High Cloud Quintet fell apart after less than 100 short years. As wars waned, the major ships went their separate ways as the Luofu began patrolling cosmic trade routes, seeking out supplies and support for the Alliance. Old friendships became scattered to the winds, and enemies were either captured or dead. Only memories remain. Fallen generals don't have to endure such torment, but those who survive have to go through it all, no matter how great a vision one has dreamed of, and no matter how many overwhelming enemies one has defeated. Time will always reduce one's strength, little by little, yet cruelly spares one's life, leaving one cowering in a corner and hating one's own powerlessness. Only the truly wise can stand proud in front of the undefeated enemy called time. Do not make this decision lightly, General. Think about how you will be remembered in history. The General of the Cloud Knights listens to his subordinates' words with eyes half closed. History will make its own judgment, but I have no interest in my legacy. If I succeed, history will state that I am currently supremely confident in my masterful strategy. But if I fail, then history will state that I am currently neglecting my duties in wanton pleasure, preferring finches over my people. A finch jumps down from his shoulder, and he extends his hand to catch the small creature. I have simply made my own decision. The boy is still tightly grasping the sword, even when fast asleep against the general's shoulder. The general gently taps the boy's cheek, and the boy mutters in his sleep.
General, I finally won.
The general pauses. He suddenly realizes that, compared to the boy trying to improve every day, he himself has endured too many years and is used to stagnation. You will soon be better than everyone, and that will only be the beginning.